Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 19 of the Cleveland Indians franchise here on MLB The Show 21 for the PlayStation 5. And today we have reached the 2021 Major League Baseball first year players draft. We will find out where the future prospects of Major League Baseball will wind up. So if you're excited for this one, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. Now right here on the screen, I'm showing you all the players that we have scouted, and I tried to do a pretty solid job of not just scouting the top players, and we've actually gone into some detail about some of these players, and if you want to watch those two videos, I will link those in the description below as well as at the end of the video, so it gives you some background on some of the top prospects, some prospects we might hit later in the draft, so I'd recommend checking those out. But going into the draft, Pirates have the number 1 pick, and we currently have the 24th pick of each round. And it stays that way, as well as a competitive balanced pick in round B. So round 1 is setting to begin. So we're going to get to our pick, and you can see all the top players going currently. And at the number 1 overall pick, the Pittsburgh Pirates select Clayton Keys, a third baseman at UCLA that we highlighted. Pretty surprised by this pick. I mean, he's got 80 potential, but not who I would have expected going number 1. Number 2, the Rangers, they take Paul Bull, a center fielder out of Vanderbilt who's got elite speed. He goes to Texas. And then at the 3rd pick, the Tigers take Donnie Gagnon, a starting pitcher from the University of Southern California, an absolute flamethrower who I think should have gone number 1, but instead falls to our division rivals at 3. Number 4, the Red Sox, they pick starting pitcher Mariano Portillo out of Florida, the pitcher of the year in college baseball. And he, for good reason, he will be an ace lefty at 20 years old. And then at 5th, the Baltimore Orioles, also in the AL East, they pick Hunter Casado, a first baseman from TCU who's got an awesome bat already. 2023 ETA, I probably would have picked him if I had a top pick, like a top 1 or 2 pick, but he falls to 5. At 7, our Kansas City Royals rivals, they select Julian Barrera, a starting pitcher from Venezuela, who we didn't highlight. First player that we're going to take a look at, we didn't highlight, but those numbers do not lie. Number 9 overall, the New York Mets, they select Dante Upshaw, starting pitcher out of Ole Miss, a guy who's got great velocity and great break as long as he can control those aspects of his game. And then number 11, the Rockies, they select left fielder Ron Marlin out of Florida, who was part of the reason why they made it to the championship and won the College World Series. However, I do think he could have benefited from another 2 years at Florida. Peter Santos goes 13 overall to the Phillies, a clothing pitcher also from Florida. Unlike Marlin, his teammate, I think he is ready to come out. He'll be an ace closer for Philadelphia. And then number 16, speaking of closers, the Giants picked Ronald Casto out of Texas Tech. We saw him. He got rocked in the game that we watched, but I don't think that should be an issue. And at 23, our rival Chicago White Sox select Miguel Guerrero, somebody we didn't highlight, but if you later, I'll show you we might have. So at number 24, there goes all of the blue chip prospects. Everybody in that first draft preview is gone, but we still have plenty of players left on the board, especially in that draft preview. If you watch that one, there is one player who stands out, and that is starting pitcher Rod Berg, the 18-year-old from Blue Valley Southwest High School in Kansas. And we will make the selection here. Rod Berg will be our first round pick at number 24. He's got great velocity, great break, pretty solid control, has some areas he needs to work on in other facets of his game. But at 18 years old, just that young talent, you got to take a shot at him. So we take Rod Berg in round 1. That is our first selection. Also in round 1, the Twins, they took relief pitcher Andy Gund out of Stony Brook College. Very interesting pick there from the Twins nonetheless. And then to round out round 1, the Dodgers, they took Woody Landers, the first baseman out of LSU we took a look at. Kind of surprised he fell into the first round. If he was available in the second round, I would have taken Woody Landers, but he goes to the Dodgers in the first. So now time for our round 2 selection. Still plenty of players that we highlighted in that second draft preview, including Woody Ross, the third baseman out of Cal. He's a player we'll take a look at. We also highlighted James Barnett, the first baseman out of Illinois, who's got a solid contact bat, but questions about his power in fielding hold him back. There's Derek Garst, the South Carolina Gamecock, go Cox, who could be a factor in the bullpen with high velocity and break as long as he can control the long ball. And there's Damian Traylor, a solid starting pitcher from Rhode Island who actually missed a lot of the year with that broken thumb, so is he worth the risk? So I went back and forth with this pick a little bit. I thought about James Barnett. I like that contact. I just had questions about his fielding and his power. So to come down to it, I took Derek Garce here in the second round with the 59th overall pick out of South Carolina, 21 years old. It's going to be a while till he gets there, but with bullpen being such a factor, and it's kind of hard to come by solid bullpen arms nowadays, I think Garce is more the selection. Now, we got a competitive balance round B pick, so since we have this extra pick, I decided to take a chance on Damian Traylor, the starting pitcher who missed time with that broken thumb. If we have the extra pick, I think maybe using it on a guy who's a high-risk, high-reward player could benefit. Now, right before our picks in round 3, James Barnett went at pick number 94 to the Toronto Blue Jays, and then the pick right before us at 97, the Chicago White Sox took third baseman Woody Ross out of Cal. So that leaves us with no players left that we saw in the previews, and I only had 2 players left scouted overall in general. Kevin Zapata, a outfield prospect who's pretty even around the board, no really top trait other than maybe his speed, and then Todd Fisher, a first base prospect who, in my opinion, has some higher ceiling than Zapata. So we're going to go with Todd Fisher here in the third round out of Cal Poly with pick number 98. Into the fourth round now. At this point, I have exhausted all of my draft choices as Kevin Zapata went, so I'm just kind of taking flyers here. I went with high potential players who at young age, and so in the fourth round we go Steve Arthur, relief pitcher out of Clovis North High School in Fresno, California. Remember, we don't know anything about these players, so 75-80 is not a guarantee. In the fifth round we go Robert Wyatt, a starting pitcher also from Fresno, California, from San Joaquin High School, who actually also has a college scholarship to Fresno State. So that'll be something interesting to look out for. Does he go the route of being picked already, or will he go to college? And in the sixth round, we take a flyer on relief pitcher Mariano Ortega of Dominican Republic, as this draft pool was starting to wind down. So that concludes our picks. So let's take a look at our picks, starting with Rod Berg. You see 90 potential off the bat. Derek Garce 78, Traylor only a 73. That was a little disappointing, but we did hit a home run late with Robert Wyatt, 86 potential at 18 years old. That could be somebody to look out for, but Rod Berg 65 A potential at 18 years old. This is somebody we're definitely going to keep an eye on in prospect spotlights in the minor leagues. He could be definitely another pitcher to add to our already stellar rotation. And at 18 years old, he can be in the majors before he hits the age of 20. In the second round, Derek Garce, he was a decent pick, 56 overall C potential. That clutch, though, is really, really low. So that could be a problem. And his hits per 9, he's got some stuff he's got to work on, but he's got some good foundation, that velocity and break. If he can develop in the minors, he'll be a welcome addition to the bullpen. Damian Traylor, 65 overall C potential, a little higher than what he was projected. You can see he's got, I think, better traits than Garce off the bat. Thing is, does he develop? How much more does he have on his ceiling? And that home run per 9 is kind of low. In the third round, Todd Fisher, the first baseman out of Cal Poly at 20 years old. He's got decent traits, 48 overall though. He's more of a threat on the base paths and in the field. Don't know how much he'll ever really develop at the plate, so that's a little concerning there. But the fifth round, Robert Wyatt. Oh, actually, before we get there, Steve Arthur, in the fourth round. The 128th pick, also got low clutch. He is a prospect. I think his 64 overall is rather generous, despite his fact that he's got elite walks per 9. So at least he got a building block here for Steve Arthur. But like I said, Robert Wyatt, the 60 overall high B potential starting pitcher. He's got great velocity, and his other aspects of his game are a little bit higher than what you pick at players of this spot. So very interesting. The question is, does he go to college, or will he sign with us in the fifth round? Because I think Robert Wyatt thinks he should have been taken before the fifth round. In the sixth round, Mariano Ortega, our last pick, 66 overall C potential. Other than a high home run per 9, I don't really see anything there. So let's take a look at some of the other players who were picked, specifically the number 1 overall pick, Clayton Keys, 46 overall A potential. In my opinion, that is very, very concerning. He's got a high potential, but will he ever reach it? It's going to take a lot of work to get Clayton Keys to the majors. And is it worth that time with the number 1 overall pick? The Rangers, they got Paul Bull with the second pick, 94 potential. He has got elite speed, which we already kind of know. Bat is a little bit of a question mark. It's a little bit of a concern, but I think he'll progress like Clayton Keys. It just depends. Do you want to wait on him? The first home run apparently goes to the Tigers, in my opinion. Donnie Gagnon with the third pick, 66 overall, A potential. This guy's already almost got the tools to reach the major leagues. You see 89 velocity. He should be in the Tigers rotation relatively soon. Fourth pick, Mariano Portillo, the Pitcher of the Year award, 67 A potential. He kind of like Gagnon. He should benefit sooner rather than later with the Red Sox. I think Portillo and Gagnon's careers are going to be a lot similar. I think they will get compared a lot, especially as they progress. In the fifth round, the Orioles, they took Hunter Casada, the Dick Hauser Trophy Award winner this past year in the NCAA. The player I probably would have picked. 69 overall, A potential, a solid bat right off the rip. He'll contribute really soon for Baltimore. Our rivals, the Royals, they took Julian Barria, the starting pitcher, 71 overall, A potential. He's probably at this point the most MLB-ready prospect out of anybody that's been drafted. And that's kind of scary that it happens to be in our division rival. So they made a solid first-round pick. At number 9, Dante Upshaw out of Ole Miss, 92 potential, 55 to start. You see, he's got good velocity, but he's also got good break, and I think that's what stands him out from maybe Gagnon and Portillo, is he's also got the velocity and the break right off the bat. And his control's not bad. So I think Dante Upshaw was a solid selection at 9. Number 11, Ron Marlin went to the Rockies. I think he's going to be a good player, but I do, like I said, could have benefited from going back to college. So raw at the plate. That's going to take a lot of work. Peter Santos to Philadelphia, the Florida Gator by way of Savannah, Georgia. He'll be a solid closing pitcher. He'll need a little bit of development in his clutch situations, as well as making sure he strikes out his batters, but he'll be okay. But the stories of the Phillies, they took 99 potential Matt McFadden in the second round out of Louisville, and this guy could be the player that the Philadelphia looks at in this draft. He has the highest potential in the class with one other player who we'll take a look at in a minute. But what a pick by Philadelphia in that second round. Arnold Castro goes to San Francisco. He'll go to the Bay Area, a solid closer for them out in San Francisco. And at 23, the pick below above us, Miguel Guerrero goes to the White Sox, 99 potential. And of course, he was selected by our rival. So 51 overall, a good pick out of Illinois once he develops in the minors. So look at our division rivals making some solid picks. And then it was our pick, but we'll look at the Twins, who at 26 took Andy Gunn, who is probably the biggest bust of the first round. 52 overall, C potential. That is not a first round pick, and I think the Twins really took a swing and a miss here in the first round. To round out the first round, Woody Landers went to the Dodgers, 66 overall, C potential. He's got a very solid bat to start. His power might not ever really get there. Like I said, that was my concern for him, especially being a quarter infield spot, but a solid pick there for the Dodgers. In the third round, Derek Barnett went to the Blue Jays, and I missed on James Barnett. D potential, 56. He's got a good bat, but man, he might have peaked in college. So I'm kind of glad we didn't take Derek Barnett or James Barnett with him falling a couple more picks, because that would have been a miss for me. The White Sox also took Woody Ross, the jack of all trades, master of none player. He'll need some development. 53 overall, C potential. Probably would have picked him with the next pick if he would have been available. And then one other player we'll highlight, the Tigers. They took Emilio Ayala a little bit later in the draft, and he's also got high potential. So the Tigers could have gotten a 1-2 punch in this draft with Donnie Gagnon and Emilio Ayala. Now, that ends the draft portion. We did simulate this game against the White Sox, so I didn't play any of the White Sox series, and this was a good one as we won 7-6 in 11 innings. Ramirez hit a walk-off double to win us the game. But next episode, we will rejoin the Cleveland squad with a 3-game series against Baltimore and a 2-game series against St. Louis. And so that'll be next episode. But let me know what you thought of our draft selections. Who do you think will be the breakouts? Who are you not really sold on yet? And who do you think could be the sleeper pick of the draft? Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.